Attorney General Sessions was enthusiastic about potential Trump-Putin meeting before campaign by Jim Hoft for the GatewayPundit.com. As we previously reported, former Senator and current Attorney General Jeff Sessions oversaw the small team of 5 foreign policy experts for the Trump campaign. Included in this small group were Carter Page and George Papadopoulos. According to House Intel reports, the future president was under pressure to put together a foreign policy team in March of 2016. A number of seasoned Republican foreign policy experts were unwilling to jump on the Trump train. Because of this pressure from the press to show he had experts on his team, candidate Trump named then Alabama Senator Jeff Sessions as the chairman of his National Security Advisory Committee, NSAC. A few weeks later, candidate Trump released the names of 5 people on his team. The list included Carter Page and George Papadopoulos. And here it is. Advisor George Papadopoulos and Carter Page. Okay. The House Intel report states, there is no evidence that anyone on the Trump campaign was aware of Page's past ties to Russian intelligence services or Papadopoulos' more recent contacts with a Russian-connected professor when these 2 individuals were included among the advisors that were publicly announced on March 21st. In fact, as President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, candidly put it, we put together that list because we were getting a lot of pressure from the media to put out a list of foreign policy advisors. The Daily Caller reported that both Carter Page and George Papadopoulos were hired by Sam Clovis, the Trump campaign's co-chairman. But the source of this information remains anonymous. It is more likely that Jeff Sessions was responsible for hiring both Page and Papadopoulos for the Trump campaign because they reported to him. The individuals under Sessions are the same individuals who had dealings with UK spies. Papadopoulos met with Mifsud, Halper, and Aussie Downer. Carter Page also had dealings with some or all of these British spies. There are many questions concerning these individuals. The House Intel report states that there is no evidence that the Trump campaign was aware of the team's connections with Russians. Now we know that Senator Sessions was reportedly enthusiastic when low-level campaign volunteer George Papadopoulos brought up the possibility of being able to set up a meeting between President Trump and Russian President Putin before the election. Breitbart reported that in an interview on CNN, George Papadopoulos stated the following. Tapper, when did you first meet Donald Trump? Papadopoulos, March 31st at the National Security meeting. Tapper, there's a photo of you at the table. Senator Jeff Sessions is there. What was discussed at the meeting in terms of Russia, in terms of meeting with Putin? Papadopoulos, as far as I remember, it was I who brought up anything regarding Russia. I was under the impression that an individual I had met in Rome, the so-called professor, was able to provide high-level connections in Russia that would result in some sort of summit or meeting, mostly for a photo op-ed. So I sat down and, I looked at the candidate. Trump, directly in his eyes, and I said, I can do this for you if it's in your interest and if it's in the campaign's interest. And the collective energy in the room, of course, there were some dissenters, but the collective energy in the room seemed to be interested. Tapper, collective energy, was Donald Trump interested? Papadopoulos, the candidate, he gave me sort of a nod. He wasn't committed either way, but it was, I took it as he was thinking. Tapper, Senator Jeff Sessions was there too? Papadopoulos, yes. Tapper, at the table. What was his response, Papadopoulos? My recollection was that the senator was actually enthusiastic about a meeting between the candidate and President Putin. Tapper. So you say that then Senator, now Attorney General Sessions, was enthusiastic about the idea of candidate Trump meeting Putin, but he has said the exact opposite. He says he testified before Congress saying that he, quote, pushed back when you raised the possibility of a meeting with Russia. That's not true, you're saying. Papadopoulos, I don't remember that. Tapper, you don't remember him pushing back? Papadopoulos, no. Tapper, you remember him saying that is a good idea? Papadopoulos, I remember him being enthusiastic of a potential meeting between the candidate and President Trump after I raised the question. It's curious that the only person on the Trump team that recused himself from the Russia farce, Sessions, is also the person who was the chairman of candidate Trump's National Security Advisory Council, which includes the most notorious individuals on the Trump campaign team. Now we know Sessions was excited to see a meeting between candidate Trump and Russian President Putin. Does Sessions know more than he has let on? Why did he really recuse himself from the Trump-Russia collusion fairy tale? Good question. Only time will tell. But it is interesting that Sessions hired both Page and Papadopoulos that are under FBI investigation. So that leaves a big question there, right? About Sessions, and maybe he set this up purposefully. Who knows? Because Papadopoulos said he was enthusiastic. Trump didn't really react, he was thinking. But Sessions hired these people. And then Mueller goes after them. And Carter Page actually previously worked for the FBI. So we know the FBI is corrupt, so how did Carter Page fit into this? And the FISA warrants were all taken out in the name of Carter Page there, right? So I think it was a setup from the get-go. But only time will tell. We will know eventually. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.